welcome Ray from Simply Create, who is the most awesome reel maker and content creator. Woohoo! Hello, Ray.
Hey everyone, how you doing? Hope you're all doing well. Okay, so let me do the sharing part. Hopefully this bit works. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you about Instagram Reels, videos and Instagram Reels, and what they are. But I also want to start off by setting you a task. Now, you can partake in this or you don't have to if you don't want to. You will need your phone with you though. So grab your phone if it's not nearby, which is normally you're told not to use your phones in these days and keep things quiet, but I'm not gonna do that. And I'm gonna set you a little activity and task. Now, this hasn't got to be done inside Reels. It can just be done in your normal camera. So don't worry about if you haven't used Reels before. Just turn your normal camera on and do this for me. And I'll give you a second to do this if you're feeling up to it. If you're not, not a problem. So first of all, in the chat, rate how you feel about your Instagram Reel usage in the comments. So have you not done any? You're going to be down the 4 if you've only dabbled, or if you're a pro already and you're just coming here to see if I know what I'm talking about, which is fine as well, then put a 1. Just put whatever it is that you think that you, how you're doing on Reels. And again, there's no problem because hopefully I'm going to be able to help. Okay, some 4s, 2s, 4s, yeah, nice. Good, so hopefully I'm going to be able to really help then, fingers crossed. So the first part of the activity, and I'll give you it all, but the first part of the activity starts right now about how you're feeling, which is, I keep pressing and there's a slight delay, so I always wonder if I actually have. Here we go. So the real activity, there's 3 steps to it: beginning, middle, and end. At the beginning now, either film yourself or you can actually take a picture. That's fine. I would encourage you to film yourself though, for 2 to 4 seconds with doesn't need any words, just a facial expression of how you feel about Reels. So, you know, any kind of exaggerated sad face, happy face, scared face, and however you want to do that. And do that now, just at this point. And the reason is, this next step, we're going to either film or take a picture of a key moment or a key point and takeaway as the middle. And then the last step, we're going to film or take a picture of how you're feeling at the end of linking out. This will give you a whole overview of a reel, beginning, middle, and end. We'll get into the how to do that at the very end. But if you're just doing it in your camera roll, that's fine. You haven't got to go into Reels and do it. If you don't know anything about Reels, that's fine. So for now, just at this point, you just need to film yourself or take a picture of how you feel about Reels right now. And then at some point in the whole thing, take a picture of a point in the presentation if you feel like it. I'm going to move on, just have that in the background, and I'll speak about it again in a little while. So a little bit about me. I'm a content creator, mainly focused around video, motion graphics, and design. I have a company called Simply Create. We do pretty much that. The task is to try and inspire, create, and innovate with entrepreneurs and small businesses. So I help them from the beginning of the content creation process, which is the ideation, all the way through to making content for businesses and entrepreneurs. I've made content used by Gary Vaynerchuk, if you know who he is. Some of my content has actually been used by him. I've also, some of the other people that I've worked with, lots of other ones, but people that you might have heard of: Sainsbury's, British Psychological Society, some of the local councils like myself in Redbridge, Sarah Clay, and then I'm also a Linking Out Club sponsor from the very beginning. So I'm very proud of that, to see how it's grown and obviously now to be speaking. So very pleased to be here and grateful. What are Instagram Reels? So they're short form videos up to 60 seconds. So at the moment, you can choose from 15 seconds at the beginning, 30 seconds, or up to 60 seconds. Now, if you just record a reel and it's 36 seconds, that's fine. But they're the kind of options it gives you in its first instance. So if you basically select up to 60 seconds, but only record 36 seconds, you're fine with that as well. It's Instagram's answer to TikTok. Now, TikTok kind of saw a really big boom right at the beginning of the pandemic. People were at home. It was a new platform. It was quite fun. Had lots of kind of creative tools for people to use, and really kind of took off. Instagram has now made Reels, which is their answer to that. To that. It has its own feed and own place on your profile. Now, this is quite important because your content goes to two particular places when you post your reels. And it can be shared to more. So it can be shared to stories, etc. But when you post your reels, you're posting it into a feed of its own, which people will swipe through. And that's how you get a lot of eyes from outside of your already existing followers. And it also goes onto your profile, which means that it stays there for people to come and look back on over time. And then once you've posted it, you can now share it as well into your stories. You create your videos for the most part. This is what it's meant to be done within the app. And this is using features such as music, speed, so you can slow things down, make it quicker, use effects, timer, text, voice, and stickers. We'll come to those in a bit. But not everybody does do that. And what I mean by that is lots of people create their video outside and then upload it, which is what we're going to do with the activity. So it's not to worry if you don't want to, but the purpose of Reels is to get you being creative with video inside the Instagram app. In the comments, has anyone been on a hot air balloon before? I want to know this. I actually haven't, so that's my answer. Yes. Mike, straight on a yes. Oh, we've got one yes. So I don't really know anything about hot air balloons, but I'm using it for a very important reason with regards to Reels. It's awesome. I'm glad. I definitely want to. I just haven't got round to it yet, Mike. So hopefully soon. So one of the most important things to think about with Reels, yes, there's the techie side with the features and all that kind of stuff. But initially, and I think what people don't talk about enough when it comes to short form video is mindset. Okay, it's got a different mindset and approach to actually other types of video. Now, so the real experience, short form video in its entirety. Now, again, I said it's Reels is Instagram's reply to TikTok, but there's also shorts as well, which is on YouTube. Now, you have to be really you have to understand that everybody's now competing for your attention of where you're going to actually find yourself, whether that might be TikTok, whether it might be Reels, or whether it might be YouTube Shorts. So whilst they're all competing with each other to win you as a person who's going to be a creator, they're also boosting your reach, and they're also if you use certain features, they're helping your content along. So it's really important to know that it's a really important time for short form video. So what you need to have in your mindset now, taking the hot air balloon approach, for the most part, we've got planning, preparing, and creating. And the planning, assembling stuff, preparing. So that's the actual production of recording the video and what you're going to have in it and what you're going to include, and then actually hitting the record button and doing that. And then we often post it, and we only go so far. Okay. Now, this is my important part of bring the heat. Right? If you want to take something away from when you create Reels, it's bring the heat. So when you're approaching a Reel, we have to understand that sometimes, especially with trends, that there's a speed and a reaction that's needed. Okay. So the planning, preparing, creating stage actually needs to be done quite quickly if you want to jump on a trend, and we come to trending a little bit later. You need to understand that things change. So what does well yesterday might not do well today. And this is features just over time. And obviously that's just life, TikTok could not be around in 3 years' time. Reels might, they might give up on Reels, in 6 months' time. You never know. Look what happened with Twitter and Fleets. It came and it went within a fleeting moment. See what I did there? Didn't even mean that one. Just thought that. Failure. You have to expect to fail at your Reels at first. What you're basically telling, the more you do Reels, you're telling Instagram, I'm into this. If you just do 1, 2, 3 and big spaces in between, you're kind of not telling that's not what you're saying to Instagram. And you have to be willing to fail. And what I'm willing is you have to try and push your ideas beyond what the safety of what you normally do. Consistency, we hear this all the time. Both posting consistently, but improving consistently. So trying new things and being playful. This is what I love about the reels and the short form video is that you can be really playful with it, and there's a lot of forgiveness in either not doing things perfect, if that's the way you want to call it, or just picking up your phone and filming. It's been put in there. It's a big catalyst to lower the cost of entry for video. So where people used to think you need a lot of money, a lot of tools, a lot of production cost, now that's not the case. You can pick up your phone, open up a Reels or whatever, and you can get going, and people are happy to see that. Resilience, you need to keep trying, you need to keep going for it. Short-term delivery on a long-term goal. And what I mean that is there's lots of little bite-sized things that actually build up to a bigger moment. And of course, the last one that people don't think it always comes into play, but a little luck. You do need a little luck if you're going to have one of them reels to, really, really take off. And sometimes you might not even know why it is. So this is what I've said. If you can bring the heat when you're creating, if you can bring something different, bring the fire, that's when that balloon will really kind of fly, all right, and take you to a different place you've ever been. So when you're thinking about creating your reels, practice them, and then how can you make them better? How can you make it different? How can you stand out? How can you do something that people are not expecting you to do? That's bringing the heat, and that's getting rid of the fear of posting, how much you care about what other people think, what's expected of you, and what you've routinely been posting. Routine is great in terms of posting 10 video reels every single day, but the 11th one, let's bring the heat. Yeah, let's bring something completely different. Let's change it up a bit. So when planning your reels, now I kind of stopped at this point, and then I was like, I'm going to focus on these three. And then I took it a bit further. So how are you going to grab the attention, the fire moment, right? How are you going to do that? It needs to stand out. It's not even the case of 3 seconds. It's as much as people tell you 3 seconds. If you ever flick through your short form videos, it's not even that. So how are you going to grab me in and make me watch? And don't forget, you're only trying to make me watch potentially 15 seconds, not 3 minutes, not an hour, not a whole Netflix episode. So what's that moment you're going to be within that Reels? If it doesn't have a moment, don't expect necessarily for it to be something that is, popular or watched more than you expected. Now you've got them. Now you've wowed them. Now you've got that fire and brought the heat. How are you going to keep it? How are you going to keep me there? How are you going to keep me watching? And then what's in it for your audience? Always. Same as most other content. Are you educating? Are you entertaining? Or are you edutaining? Okay, educating and entertainment. Can you bring it together, mash it up, bring the heat again? And then I put some others in that when you're planning your reels of just some things to thinking about. Finding the right music is really key on any of these platforms. And we'll get into that a little bit later, but using music, even if you have it low, which you can do, and have your voice as the predominant sound, that's fine. Will you post it to feed? So will it need a cover image? So if you're going to go to feed, think about it's going to sit there for a long time. So do you want it to have its own image, or are you going to just use a screenshot? If you're going to do a talking head video, which a lot of people do, which is great, you only need 80 to 100 words. You don't need a lot. It's, 4 or 5 bullet points and you've got your 25 seconds. Batch record. So for the one that's not bringing the heat, for all the others that you plan to do, don't do one at a time, because that becomes a bit difficult. Unless you're reacting to a trend, try to batch as much as you can so that you can do, 4, 5, 6 reels all at once with some ideas that I'll give you later. This will just help you out with practice, but also it means that you haven't got to come back to that for a few days after you post. And I would say a key piece of equipment that I've experienced is a tripod that has a mobile phone mount, because the static, you can do a lot of transitions just by making sure that your phone is still and in the same place. Structuring your reels. Now, this might be my favorite slide, just because I feel like it's it's an illustration, but it's a way of telling you of how to think about planning your reels. Now, I've got something that I've called, this is all made up, by the way, in terms of the structure, but seesaw. right? Now, depending on how you look at the seesaw, you either really like being at the top end or you really like not being there at the other end because you come down with a bump, whichever that might be. But what I mean by that, it is the high end or the end that you enjoy the most. Put that at the beginning. Everything that you want, all the excitement at the beginning. And this is because you want to hook people in. You want to bring people in. So don't try and say, I'll leave the best tip until last. No, put the best tip in the first 2 seconds and tell them what they're going to get. The next one I've called the smile. Okay, take them on the journey. So give them a wow moment at the beginning. Then it's going to take that little dip at the beginning and then bring them of a wow moment at the end. Okay, you've got to kind of take them on the journey of, look, this is, I brought you in, and now I'm going to end with a positive message, notion, however you want to call it, but try to kind of almost bookend that smile. It's going to take the dip in the end because you can't necessarily have, wow moments every second. But remember, and that's what you're trying to do, obviously, make them smile. And the last one is pieces of cake. Now, obviously, people know about the breadcrumbs, leaving breadcrumbs. I think cake is better than breadcrumbs, so I'm going with pieces of cake. Leave little pieces along the way to build up to your wow moment, okay? So you're trying to make that big block, orange block, your wow moment. The pieces are building up to that, but the pieces are keeping them watching for that wow moment. So decide almost on one of those 3 structures that you want to do. Front end, make the smile, or leave them pieces of cake along the way to get to that wow moment. But all of them should try and have the bring the heat moment. Do's and don'ts. Do's. So whenever you're thinking about your reels, do add music, even if you keep it low. Do add text. So with text, you want to think about not key points is fine, a title at the beginning and key points, or obviously transcription. And I don't think they've fully rolled out speech to text yet, but I'm pretty sure that's going to come and follow the fact that TikTok has it. They'll probably have it sooner rather than later. I think they have started rolling it out, but not everybody has it yet. So include that, because obviously a lot of reels are also watched on silent. Now you might think, so then why do I need music? Because the music is actually more related to what's trending and another group that you can be in, similar to hashtags, but you're basically saying, I use this music, so I'm going to group with all these videos. Make your hook great, which is, to be honest, that's all content, but obviously with reels. Post to feed. Now, I suggest posting to feed. And the reason I suggest posting to feed is that reels actually favors sending out to people that are not your followers. So it actually pushes it out. If you ever look at your analytics, you will actually see that if you post a reel, it actually goes out to people that don't know you more than it goes out to people that know you. But why I say post to feed is hopefully people that already know you will support that, like it, comment, and that will obviously push it even further. So use new features. Whenever a new feature comes along, try it. And the reason they try it is because the platform puts weight behind anybody that's using that new feature. One of the brand new ones that's just come out is voice changer. So you can change your voice. You can have a high squeaky voice or a low voice or a singing voice, all these different ones. So yeah, whenever a new thing comes out, try it. Try to incorporate trends within your overall plan, okay? But make the trend relevant to you. You don't always have to just copy. Use hashtags and post regularly, okay? And regularly, if you want to really, really grow with reels, I'm talking like 3 times a day. Honestly, that's what I'm saying with what people that are growing. However, I don't post 3 times a day, so I'm not going to suggest you do. But, once every other day would be really good. And a lot of your content that you've already posted on your feed can be converted to reels. Don't add videos with watermarks. Now, that basically there's an algorithm within any of the platforms now that says if there's a watermark that shows up, it tells it it's been exported from somewhere and you're uploading it. And so it's more likely to kind of suppress your reach. So try not to copy videos that you've used or export them from other platforms. Don't make it longer than necessary. If it's only 10 seconds and not 15, good to go. Yeah, that's fine. Post. Don't try and go, oh, it's not 15 seconds. Because if people watch all of that 10 seconds, it will still perform well. Don't use 30 hashtags. Instagram has recently come out and said you don't need to use as many hashtags anymore. Try to make them really high quality, but between 5 and 8. Okay. So you don't have to spend as much time thinking about loads of hashtags, but you do need to spend time thinking about great hashtags. Don't worry if it's not perfect. That the short form video is not made for perfection in any way. It's made for people to create. It's short form because it's fleeting. It's here and then it goes. Trends, they come and they go really quickly. So if it's not perfect, good, post and off you go. I always say if it's 80%, it's done. It's good to go. Have text in place, places it can't be read. There are some key areas that it can't be read, mainly lower down and to the right-hand side, and that's because there's icons or text blocking it. So just make sure you keep your text fairly centered when you post. Don't always copy what works for other people. It won't necessarily work for you. Okay, at this point, if you haven't taken your middle point of your reel, this is the time. So you can use your phone now. If you've taken a picture or whatever on other slides, that's good. But this is your point to do that if you haven't already. So I'm just going to show you some examples of some Instagram features that you'll need to know. So in number 1, down the left-hand side, you have your music at the top. And this is where you press that, you can pick from all the music within Instagram Reels. The next one down is how long you want to do it for. So by default, it says 30 seconds, but you can change that to 15 or a minute. Your next one down is speed. This is just on number 1 at the moment on your left-hand side, is your speed. You can speed your recording up or you can slow it down. So you can actually just do a really nice walk across the camera, but slow it down, and it's really effective. The next one down is effects that you get to choose from. So that can be like things like green screen when people put images behind them. That can be silly faces, all that kind of stuff that you've seen time and time again on Instagram stories. And the last one, and the most important one when creating, I think, video is the timer. The timer allows you to stop a video at a certain point. And this particularly goes well if you're using it to music or the beat or a particular moment. So for example, if I set a timer and I clapped and then I started the next shot with my clap and then did that, it would look like that I've kind of changed between the claps. So the timer is really important when for the video part. Once you've started recording, you get another option right at the bottom down the left-hand side, which is the 2 boxes, one on top of the other. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but there, that one is a line. So that means it gives you like an onion skin of what your last video was, last frame of your video, so that you can either try and match something up or you can try to put yourself in a different position. And this is part of where you start to learn transitions. Down here, you also have what you've already uploaded and anything in your camera roll is down the bottom that you can upload, as well as obviously changing the universal symbol for changing your camera. Once you've finished your videoing, you then get these options along the top. And these options are save to play around with music and volume. I know we have a voiceover artist. There we go. I know we have a voiceover artist, but this is actually a voiceover feature within Reels. So something you could really make a use of potentially. More effects, stickers, and the stickers for the most part are the same as Instagram stories, with the exception of things like links. They're not in there, but you can like tag people and use hashtag stickers and mini graphics and faces. And drawing. So if I wanted to draw an image pointing to my cup of coffee, then I could do that. And obviously your text, and your text you put on at the end, but you have the timing of where you want it that will appear down the bottom. Once you're happy with everything you've created, you move along to 4, and 4 is basically a sharing screen where you put your captions. Do you want to share this to feed or not? So you can just post it to the main page of all the reels without posting it to your own feed, everybody else's feed, if that makes sense, on Instagram, the feed that you see most of the time. It allows you to upload and crop a profile image so it sits perfectly within your profile. You can tag products, people. Rename the audio is always interesting because that's when you've created your own audio, you can give it a special name. So you can actually name them, and you can then also go back and find that audio to see if anybody else has created videos using your sound. And then obviously you've got the share. Trending reels. Okay, now I talked about music, and I want to just highlight these two things. So this was a video I made, and this is where I've circled here and here. This is how you would find trending music. If you watch your feed, your reels feed for 15 minutes, not every day, but just 15 minutes here and there, you'll soon hear the sounds that are being used a lot. If you hear a sound that's being used a lot, it's probably trending. And then you can tap here at the bottom, and that will allow you to save that sound to use later on. Or you can tap straight away at the top and create a reel straight off the back of that. So it would include the audio that I've used in your reel. This is a way of which you're picking up on what's trending. It's very difficult to find out what's trending on Instagram at the moment because everybody's Reels feed is built to their own algorithm. So what's trending for you, for example, I don't have any pets, so I'm not really a massive pet lover. But if you love animals, your feed might be lots of animals, and then you might see something particularly done with animals that's fun. But because I don't ever give the animals videos a time of day, for example, they won't show up on my feed. So our algorithms are different. So what's trending will be different for everybody. But obviously, it's trying to serve you what you like. So then once you found that, you might want to borrow that sound or whatever and use it. So watch for 15 minutes. If you're on TikTok, spend a little bit of time on TikTok because TikTok trends normally a little bit before Reels. Use music, which I've just talked about. Look on Google Trends for topics that are on the rise. React quickly. So if you see something new that's being done often, take the sound, take what is being done and react to it quickly, even if it's not your best work. But that's more likely to get your reach out there quicker because it will be on the rise. Whereas if you then try and plan to do it 2 weeks' time, actually do it and then post, the trend's gone and it won't get as the traction that you were looking for. And make it your own. So even though you're looking at a trend, how do you make it about your own business, whatever that trend is? Coming to the end, these are just some ideas for you to get started with on what you would like, what things that you could create. Now, these were fairly simple ones. And what I mean by that is if you go and spend that 15 minutes on Reels, you can actually categorize as you watch them where they fit in. So day in the life, top tips, show off your work or your product, your before and after shot, what you do for fun and enjoyment. So that can just be if you like going out for a bike ride, or if you, that's fine to incorporate and you should incorporate it. Just use that good, popular trending music. Behind the scenes of what you're doing, like your desk space or where you're working, product reviews, facts and did you know, tutorials and how-tos, and the journey and location. And what I mean by that is if you're going to an event or if you've your journey on your business. So how you started and where you got to where you are. Most of the content you'll see falls in these categories. The ones that are different and stand out are the ones where people started to bring the heat. They're starting to change up, use these, but bring more to them to capture the audience. So learn more. There is a reason I crammed this full of so much. And that is because I have resources for you to go away with to do more. Now, I have done over 18 Instagram Reels tutorials, more than that. But there's a playlist with all of them in order from kind of start to finish that build up to doing transitions that is on my YouTube channel. So there's a free Instagram Reels tutorials. There's more than 18 of them. You can find them if you use this QR code or just over on my YouTube channel. And yeah, watching and that can teach you the step-by-step of things. So I know that I crammed lots into this, but it was because I knew I also had resources also outside that you can go and spend some time going through things step by step. Please DM me with any questions you might have. I'm more than happy to answer them. Yeah, that'd be great. And just for Linking Out Club, so only the people that have come along today, there's an exclusive offer if you want to book in some one-to-one time with me to talk about content ideas, content support, any video campaigns or confidence that you want to build, social media content creation, or digital content marketing strategy. I can talk and help you through planning and executing on any of those. And I've reduced my price specifically for you today. So thank you. And any questions? Everybody see my screen?
Yes.
So I can now I can show you what I was actually talking about.
Yeah, no, we like this.
This is, in the moment. Right, so they're the three that I'm using, and I'm going to go to preview because, right, so that's the same shot that I was using. Now, you've got up here, obviously, your options that I can pick on. So the text here is what I was going to show you, which let's just say linking out club. Here we go. So we've got this done, and we'll do this so you can see it better. Right, so this is our text here, which is great. But down the bottom in this part here is where you can change your text and timing. So I can tap that, and then as you can see, I've got a little bar down the bottom where I can move my text. So if I want my text, and this is all about like kind of getting creative, to change as the shot changes. So as it goes from this to this, I find that moment, which is about there, somewhere there, and then I pull the text back until that moment kind of hits. Well, there it is. Just got to find that, and then linking out will go away once the shot changes. So you should see this in a minute playthrough. It says linking out club, and then the timing that I pulled back will take it off as we change to a different screenshot. Again, you have the stickers up the top. Your music.
Never use stickers because I think don't they stay on all the way? What are the advantages of using them, Ray?
I think they've changed them because there was more than this before. So I think they've got rid of some. But in terms of the advantage, it's always the more features that you use, especially if they're new, it's gonna be worth it. I want to see if
thank you.
Your stickers also, if they change the same way in which you do your text, so you don't have to have it on there the whole time.
Oh, I did not know that. Thank you.
So if you add a sticker, which is there, oh no, it won't doesn't like this. Oh, it's because I'm in this. Done. If you add a sticker, whatever sticker you add, it works the same as text. And obviously you can choose to pick GIFs as well, which is really handy if you want to do them to just pop up for a moment, especially like an arrow. So if you pick an arrow as a GIF that has a transparent background, and then you can do it to the follow sign. Music is the one that we were talking about earlier. If I wanted to add music, I hit the music at the top, and then I hit add, and then I can pick from all of that. And my saved ones, the things that I've seen and they're popular, are in my saved file. So I can go back and go, right, and now I want to create a reel that's based on this music, which might not necessarily be what I wanted to do. So sorry about that. And obviously you can bring that volume all the way down, like I said, to have it really low. And then whatever recording I haven't got any volume because I use pictures, but I can have that really high. So try to always add music, relevant music, but try to add it if you can. And if you're not going to use it or you don't want it prominent, just bring that volume all the way down.
Yeah, that's actually, that's what I do, Ray. So I do these talking head ones as well as the sort of silly dancey ones. And I just have the music so it's background. So quite low.
And I do that quite a lot, especially if, like I said, talking head ones. I always just make sure I've used something fairly popular that I know people have been listening to. Doesn't have to be really popular and trending. And then you make it put it really low on the undertone so that it knows that I used it. While I've got like screen share up, does anyone want me to show you anything else in particular? That's the left button there at the top is the save button. So you can download, if you're halfway through making a reel, you can actually save it to your camera roll. But make sure you're uploading that back into Reels and not somewhere else, because again, I'm pretty sure it does a watermark. And the voiceover one is where you can actually pick where you want to start the recording. Again, when it changes, I could then start recording a voiceover there. So again, this is a way you don't even have to be on camera. You could just be showing some of your work, somewhat that you've done, and talk over it. This was the first part where I, started to draw this, and then I put it onto my computer and did this, and they never see your face. You're just talking over the top and kind of annotating what they're seeing. So if you're a little bit camera shy, then you don't have to always be on camera if you don't want to. I would encourage you to sometimes, but you don't always have to.
Amazing. Yeah, I've never used the voiceover thing. That could be quite useful showing how-tos, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then the last is your cover image here that you've got. You can pick, this is what I meant by you can pick any of your frames and just post there, or you can choose to upload, which is at the bottom, add from camera roll. So you can already have planned the cover photo that you're going to use, so that when it sits on your profile, it goes and is curated the same as the rest of your profile, branding, etc.